For months, she destroyed his mailbox like it was her personal game, until one shocking night changed everything. Darius Whitmore never thought much about his mailbox. Just a simple black metal box at the end of his driveway, same as every other house on Sycamore Lane in Dayton, Ohio. But one morning, as he stepped outside with his coffee, he found it hanging open, its hinge barely attached. Letters from the night before were scattered across the lawn, some damp from the morning dew. At first, he thought it was an accident. Maybe the wind, or some kid being careless with flyers, no big deal. He picked up the soggy mail and made a mental note to fix the screws later. But 2 days later, it happened again. This time, the mailbox was bent at a strange angle, like someone had taken a swing at it. Darius sighed, rubbing his face. Maybe some bored teenagers were messing around. Annoying, but not worth losing sleep over. He straightened it and moved on. But then it kept happening. Each time, the damage got worse. The door was ripped clean off one morning. A week later, the entire post was leaning like someone had tried to yank it out of the ground. Then, the final straw. Darius stepped out one evening to take out the trash and found his mailbox completely destroyed. Split into pieces. Like someone had gone at it with a sledgehammer. This wasn't random. Someone was doing this on purpose. Darius took a deep breath, pushing down his frustration. He had better things to do than play detective over a mailbox. But when he went to the hardware store to buy a new one, the cashier gave him a look. "Another one?" the man asked, pulling a box from the shelf. Darius let out a short laugh. "Yeah. Bad luck, I guess," the man grunted. "Bad luck? Or someone got a problem with you?" Darius didn't answer. He just paid in cash and drove home. As he installed the new mailbox, something gnawed at him. It wasn't just the mailbox. There had been other signs too. The glares from across the street when he first moved in. The wrong mail ending up in his box, important bills always missing, but junk somehow piling up. Letters from the neighborhood association about keeping the community's aesthetic intact, sent only to him. Darius wasn't stupid. He had seen this before. Still, he brushed it off. He worked hard, paid his mortgage, and minded his business. That should have been enough. But it wasn't. That night, lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, he made a decision. If it happened again, just one more time, he was going to find out exactly who was behind it. And something told him he wouldn't have to wait long. 2 nights later, a dull metallic clang echoed through the quiet street. Darius sat up in bed, heart pounding. He already knew what had happened. Instead of rushing outside, he reached for his phone and opened the security camera app. A few days earlier, he had installed a small motion-activated camera on his front porch, aimed directly at the mailbox. He hadn't told anyone. Hadn't even admitted to himself that he was serious about it. But now, as he watched the footage, the answer was staring right back at him. Curran Ledford, his next-door neighbor. The woman who had lived there for over a decade. The same woman who had barely said 3 words to him, except for that one time when she sneered, "Some of us care about keeping the neighborhood nice." There she was, standing under the glow of a street lamp, gripping a wooden baseball bat with both hands. His mailbox was already dented. She must have hit it before the camera caught her. Now she lifted the bat again, adjusting her stance, like she was warming up for a home run. Darius could hardly believe it. This wasn't kids being stupid. This wasn't a prank. This was deliberate. She swung. Crack! The mailbox wobbled. Another hit. The door snapped off, landing in the grass. She exhaled, almost satisfied, then took one last swing before walking back toward her house. Like she had just taken out the trash. Darius sat frozen, gripping his phone so tightly his fingers hurt. Anger burned in his chest, but instead of reacting, he breathed. He needed to be smart about this. The next morning, he waited. Sure enough, around noon, Karen strolled down her driveway to check her mail. She didn't even glance at him, but Darius knew she was expecting a reaction. She wanted him to explode, to march over, yell, 'cause a scene. Instead, he gave her nothing. She reached into her mailbox, pulled out a few envelopes, and turned to head back inside. That's when Darius spoke. "Got some good swings in last night, huh?" Karen froze mid-step. Just for a split second. Then, slowly she turned, forcing a fake laugh. "Excuse me." Darius held up his phone, tapped the screen, and turned it toward her. The footage played in perfect clarity. Her, the bat, the destruction, the casual walk home. Corinne's fake smile twitched. For the first time, she actually looked rattled. Then she straightened her shoulders. "That's not me." Darius let out a low chuckle. "You sure? Because it looks a lot like you." Corinne's nostrils flared. "You're harassing me." "You're destroying my property," Darius shot back. "And you've been doing it for months." She crossed her arms. "Prove it." Darius didn't blink. Already did. Corinne's mouth opened, then closed. She wasn't used to being cornered. She liked control. But she didn't have any now. She turned abruptly and stormed back inside, slamming the door behind her. Darius exhaled slowly. He had the footage. He had the proof, but something told him this wasn't over. And he had no idea just how much worse it was about to get. Want to know what happened next? How Darius finally got his revenge and ended this nightmare once and for all. Then make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss another shocking story. This is Shocking Fate, where we bring you the most unbelievable real-life tales of karma, justice, and mystery. See you in the next one.